live.
Good morning, everybody. All of you who are down there in Millersville and all the rest of us. We've had some problems with the water. Well, we have a lot of water, but this water is a real cold water. So we are ready to go ahead. We have a quorum, I can see. So therefore, we can proceed. And let's see, our first thing that we're going to hear is from Ellen, who is our Deputy Director, and she's going to tell you about the Inspire Award.
Good morning, everyone. We are today giving out Inspire Awards for the second and third groups that went into Back River. As you know, we were ordered in there and began our efforts back in April, and we sent our first group of employees in then, and they've already received their Inspire. Since then, we have sent 2 more groups of operations staff and also maintenance. And we also have several engineering projects that are still underway and will continue to be underway. So these are the individuals that are getting the Inspire Award, some for the second time, because we've had some maintenance staff that has been out there the entire time. Next slide, Pam. And so here's maintenance and finance. We couldn't leave out Stephanie Acosta, because she has helped make these payments to the staff happen. She's made sure that we're getting our payments. She's been a big help to us, but these are all the maintenance staff that have been involved. Next slide. Here we go. Here's water and wastewater operations and engineering. The far left are all the folks, the 3 folks from engineering. Everybody else is operations. And there's a few individuals here who are appearing for the second time, that they were willing to go back out there and work more than the 3 months that some of the staff had already worked. Next slide, please. Or is that it, Pam?
That's all I have.
Okay, so these are the folks we wanted to bring them in today, but obviously with the weather, we weren't able to, but we did want to show you the efforts that have been made. These guys have all been working really hard. The maintenance staff, you know, they continue to keep making repairs out there, and, you know, on their own, not any help from the city staff. And again, our folks from engineering, we've got, we're cleaning out 2 of the high rate digesters and repairing 2 of the primary settling tanks. 1 is done, it just needs a few tweaks and it can be put online. And the first digester is almost totally cleaned. So these folks have made incredible efforts.
All right. Anything else on that? No?
That's all for me. Anybody have any questions?
Good. Well, thank you very much. Looks like a wonderful bunch of people, and thank you for getting them put together. Appreciate that. All right. Next thing we have is the approval of the minutes of November 17th. I think we have something, an echo of some sort. Do you all hear it, or is it just me? Okay. Well, perhaps it'll come up and get rid of it. Anyway, next thing is the approval of minutes of last November. All of the members of the board have been given a copy to look at. If there are no questions or objections, I don't see any, I don't hear any. So therefore, and being as how we now have a quorum, these will be approved minutes from last month. All right, next is the Executive Director's report. Our wonderful Dr. Glass. Sir?
Thank you, Judge Smolkin. Next slide. So, no expenses to report.
That's
Skedek and I, yeah, we didn't have any expenses in the last charging period. Next slide. So some highlights of engagement last month. We really, I did get to some sites, but the recruitment efforts have been so strong that we really have driven down our vacancy rate to the point where, and I was going to talk about this later, I've even engaged with Anne Arundel County Department of Public Works and Washington Suburban Sanitary Commission, where as particularly the chief engineer, I've been talking about our efforts with WSSC and sent him some of the Chi Epsilon graduating engineers from University of Maryland for him to interview, since we are fully staffed in engineering. As I know it, there's one last engineer interviews that are going on right now, but we have no vacancies amongst engineering, to my knowledge, unless one of the managing directors hasn't told me something. So we also had some great engagement through the Low Impact Development Center. I have a meeting Friday with the new Chesapeake Bay Program Executive Director, and looking forward to engaging there. And a former colleague from DNR just got named the Anne Arundel County and Annapolis Resilience Authority Director. Saw that in the Sun last night. So just lots of connections. Did have a great Charles County Resilience Authority meeting. My term ends, I think, next June on that Resilience Authority, but looking forward to being able to engage with climate change and resilience efforts throughout the state and continue to play a role both on the energy side and on stormwater and wastewater sides, and obviously in dredge material placement and finding innovative use of dredge material. Continue to speak with EPA Region 3 on various topics in the region, and that's about it for that slide. Oh, I'm sorry, one last thing on that side. Nexus PMG and RK&K have a partnership that are interested in biochar treatment, biochar facility development in the region. Even though Maryland does not have a facility yet, Pennsylvania has, I think, a couple coming online where they are making biochar from waste products. And because of its carbon storage capability, there's more and more interest, and it makes a Class A biosolids from our wastewater biosolids. So we're continuing to try to engage. We do have planning, engineering funds we've asked for in the capital program. Just, state budgets take time, but they reached out to us. We started engagement, and we'll see where that goes as a possible P3 effort. Next slide. So we had our second quarterly leadership meeting, strategic advance meeting. We continued on with some great, we never really had a bunch of team building exercises as I started. There were too many other things going on. And the laughter was awesome and palpable. I'm sad we don't have a picture of the artwork. We do have it's supposed to be framed and put in someone's office, but we had a great meeting. We started discussing 10 of the key performance indicators. We'll be revising them, and in the next quarter, we'll be refining them and getting a draft of the other 23 that we listed in the strategic plan, and to identify narratives for these performance measures, along with what is best-in-class performance in the world, definitely in the state and the nation, and to continue to develop strategies if we are not attaining best-in-class performance. In the last quarter, as I mentioned, the focus has been on outreach and supporting hiring. Since I'm pretty sure Mr. Barzel will be telling us how we've reached our target. I will be continuing to monitor, but my focus will switch to performance measures and support of the strategic plan. But it was great. We will continue to have a core of 30 or so staff that are all on the org chart, and bring in some of our mid-level managers to spice things up and to give them exposure to senior leadership in those meetings and get to know you sessions. That's Mr. Coleman holding up something. I don't know what he's holding up, though. What do you?
It was a drawing that our team prepared, our proposed mascot for MES.
Yes, our mascot challenge. That was.
He's trying to hide himself.
Next slide. So, I'm really honored to report that 5 of the staff that you saw in that last slide, 4 from the first group, will be representing MES at the Board of Public Works meeting on January 4th, accepting governor's citations for the organization, for each other. So Deputy Furketic and I will be there in support, but this is all about the team of many, many MES folks that went there and did an incredible job. We will be wrapping up our operational support. It's not a thing, it's been an agreement with MDE, Baltimore City DPW, and of course, Mr. Barr representing MES on an operational level, but we will continue to support the construction and maintenance projects as equipment comes in and as we wrap up to those 2 major construction projects that Deputy Furketic already mentioned. We wish Baltimore City and the Department of Public Works the best of luck and continue to achieve compliance, which they are continuing to achieve, and we will just be a phone call away if any assistance is needed. But that will be wrapping up this emergency 9-month project for the most part. We will still engage. Mr. Barr will still be having regularly meetings with management, and we will be monitoring those projects, both the maintenance and the 2 major construction projects for until they're completed. Next slide. So if you didn't see my LinkedIn, I just wanted to let you all know that MES has been named one of the top 150 workplaces, companies, but workplaces in the Baltimore region. So this is a great tip of the hat to the entire organization. This is solely based on a survey of our staff, and we had 365 out of 750 staff members respond to this survey, and I assume mainly say nice things. So cheers to the board, cheers to the executive leadership, cheers to the entire organization for this recognition. Yay! Happy holidays.
All right.
And don't forget about legal. Cheers to legal too. Next slide.
Let's not go overboard.
Happy to announce and support Mr. Chris Norris. Actually, I don't know. Do you want to say a few things? He was in front of our
Chris is a long-term employee. Sure. Chris is a long-term employee. You can see, they do the thing where the president's age, right?
Yeah.
Well, look in the top there. Has the same effect on you. So Chris has been a wonderful employee. He should be online here with us. He joined MES in 1984 as an inspector and boat captain at Hart Miller Island. Spent 38 years here. He's been working in my group for quite a while as our CAD operator, supporting our engineering group and our monitoring group. Does wonderful work. He'll be sorely missed, and we wish him all the best. So he loves golf, so if you see him on the links, say hello. And good luck, Chris, and sorry to see you go, but we're happy for you.
Excellent. And sad to report the passing of Mr. Douglas John, 79 years old, was a long-term employee, and started with MES in 2002, and he will be missed throughout. I mentioned him briefly at the last board meeting, but I wanted to have a slide put up for him and support for his family and condolences.
So,
and that concludes my report, Commissioner.
All right, thank you, Joe. And now we'll have our deputy director for the second time. So.
Okay. Good morning again, everybody. This is not so much of an update because we're still getting some information from the staff, and I will be actually giving you an update on how we're meeting our goals at the next board meeting. But we need to make a change to one of the sub goals. And the reason for this is that the staff is supposed to be baselining our carbon footprint. and identifying the opportunities to reduce the greenhouse gas emissions. But there was no way to finish the calendar 22 calculations until after the end of December. So instead of meeting it, the original goal said that we were going to do the calculations and have them done by the end of the second quarter in this fiscal year. We just want to modify this and make it by the end of the third quarter of this fiscal year. And since the board voted and to approve the original goals, I'm bringing it back to you for approval of this modification.
All right.
And I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
If not, we'll have to take a vote on this. And so.
I move we change the plan.
All right.
I do have one question on this. Will
Okay.
this extended deadline impact any decisions the board has to make when we ultimately evaluate salary increases or bonuses during the year based on the best goal achievements?
This is just one part of the overall goal. And I think that if they determine the calculations before, by or hopefully before the end of the third quarter, and then they come up with they identify the opportunities, I think we still meet our goal. Obviously that's going to be up to all of you if you think that because we're pushing this back that we're not going to meet our goal, then, so be it. But I think that we can still meet the intent of the goal.
I just want to make sure that when we need to make decisions on approving bonuses and the like, and I can't remember when that's actually
I'm
done.
losing you, Ms.
Oh,
Long.
I just want to make sure that when the board has to approve any bonuses based on the best achievements, that we have a full report. I just didn't know whether to impact that.
Yeah. They should have everything that you should have all the information you need to approve the activities, and we will be able to show that we've met the goal. This is going to push things back a little, but I think that the committee is working really hard. They've got as much information together, to date as they could, but they all brought it to me last month and they said, we can't get all our numbers together by the end of December because we need the numbers through the end of December. So hopefully I'm hoping that they'll be able to do this. It's not going to take till the end of the third quarter, that we ought to be able to do the calculations, by mid-February at the latest. So it's only going to be a slight delay.
Thank you.
All right. Any other questions? No? All right. We have one motion made. Is there a second? Seconds have been made. Any other matter to ask about, talk about? No? All right. All those in favor, please raise your hand. Say aye.
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 All right. And I hear no nays, so therefore it is approved. Thank you very much, and we're on the track.
Thank you.
Okay. Let's see here. Now we have our managing directors, and I'm sorry. We're going to take a look at the proposals here before we go forward. Are there any questions from the board on these? Hearing none, then we'll go ahead and proceed. And let's see here. Next matter is our financial update with our wonderful Mr. Patel, who always makes sure that there's money when you need it. Go ahead, sir.
Thank you very much, and good morning. So we just recognize great work of our employees who received Inspire Awards. Dr. Glass mentioned that MES was recognized as one of the top workplaces in Baltimore area. So I want to continue with the good news. So our financial report is good. So I'll continue in that series there. Okay. Our labor sales by group are up in each of these groups. Before it was earlier, it was some of the groups were falling behind, and so now it is higher than the last year and higher than the budgeted amount for all groups. So as of November, I'm going to have a little more detail. Of course, it's in the financial statements given to you, but I'm going to just read through it, some of the percentages. So a water wastewater group for over last year is up 8.93%. Environmental dredging and restoration is up 2.78%. Environmental operation is up 15.99%. And technical and environmental service is up 4.27%. So as of November, overall, MES is up 9.36% over the last year. That's even better news. November. So this is as of November. As Governor Hogan declared the 4.5% COLA, MES employees received the COLA too. So if you just look at the November numbers, okay, MES labor for all groups is up 18% higher. So the year-to-date 9% will keep on increasing because of going forward, we will have a even better labor sales. Next slide, please. Okay, so our labor sales, as you can see, the full year budget is $35,814,000. We expect that is to reach $36,934. Some of these projections are done on a straight line basis, so we may do even better than that. So because the increased labor, very limited vacancy. So at this time, we project that our labor sales will be 1.1 million higher than the budget. Our overhead variance will be 565,000 higher than our budget. So as the labor sales go up, we get the overhead recovery. So we project it will be 565,000 higher than our budget. The fringe variances is variable. Most of the time, we do not have positive fringe variance. If it is there, it's in a very limited amount. So we had budgeted 118,000 loss in the fringe variance. As of this time, it is 312,000 estimated for end of fiscal year 23. However, the increased labor sales will change that. And but at present, our best estimate is we may have $194,000 loss in the fringe variance. And I'm very optimistic that that will be recovered by the end of the year too. Our working capital recovery is also based on billable labor, so we are projecting 167,000 more than the budget. Project variance is a moving target. We used to have a project variances when we were doing the flat billing and the service centers, which is not this year. So we have projected that the project variance will be 200,000. And we have budgeted 200,000. We are projecting 132,000, but that can change. But that's a smaller consideration in our overall budget. The outstanding news is the other. We are budgeted for 125,000. Our full year estimate right now is 408,000, so which is $280,000 more than what we projected, and that is mainly because of the interest income. And we are holding mid-shore money. We have advances from the state, so we do allocate. Our money is commingled, but we do allocate whatever balances we are holding for the other projects, clients. we allocate and give them credit directly in their accounting. And so this $283,000, would be strictly MES after allocating. And usually it's 50-50. We allocate almost 50% of the interest to the clients. We paid best and best plus in November, but it was not from the current year earnings. It was set aside from the prior year earnings, so that does not affect our net earnings for this year. Next slide. So as you can see, our actual as of November labor sales is 15 million, and the last year was 14 million. So in every category, if you are looking at the labor sales are 9.36% up, the overhead variance, the overhead recovery is a higher, the fringe recovery is a higher, and considering all that, this is just more detail of what was given to that. The increase in net assets will be higher. The revenues are significantly higher than the last year. So it was a 56 million last year. It is 74 million this year. And I will highlight some of the revenues, some of the projects that made up that revenues. So we have increased revenues of 2.26 million for Back River project. We have Montgomery County equipment additional revenues of 1 million. Prince George's County Brown Station Road sanitary landfill additional revenues of 2.1 million. The University of Maryland Eastern Shore natural gas revenues up by 628,000, and ECI cogen conversion up by 517,000. So that makes explains the significant increase in revenues. Any questions so far? So during our meeting last month, Mr. Neal was interested in
Your antique vehicle collection.
Right. So I thought, I'll present this slide to the board and explain what's happening with our fleet. Okay. So right now we have 34 vehicles which are older than 15 years. A couple of vehicles are more than 20 years, but a lot of those vehicles are located at site. They don't travel that much, so it's the older vehicles, but they are in good shape. Okay. So that 34 more than 15-year-old vehicles are part of the 222 MES owned vehicles. Okay. So that is MES owned vehicles, 222, 34 are more than 15 years. On top of it, we have 107 custodial vehicles. The purchase and replacement of custodial vehicles is strictly dependent on client's budget and need. However, our fleet department informs them about all the repairs that are done to custodial vehicles. When the repairs are more than expected or more than normal average, we inform them that, maybe it was a time to replace the vehicles. They are getting a lot of information on our vehicles. So, and we are stressing every single vehicle that's on the road MES has is safe. Our garages, when they do the repair, are instructed that if they think that the vehicle has safety issues, inform us right away. They are not just changing the oil, they are telling us if there are any safety issues. So those 107 are the custodial vehicles.
So that's in addition to the 220.
Correct. That's 222 plus 107, which is budgeted by the clients.
Got it.
But it is operated by us, it's maintained by us. Okay. So one of the problems with having older vehicles is that we cannot get the vehicles. So we have 27, we ordered 27 vehicles in past 12 months. We have expedited ordering of the vehicles. And we have received only 5 so far out of 27. And most of the orders are 10 to 12 months older. And we have 22 vehicles we are pending receipt. out of when we say 27 orders, some of the vehicles, about 5 of them, we ordered it and then the manufacturer canceled it. So, that is after a year of pending, they say we cannot deliver that. So, but right now, we have 22 vehicles which are pending receipt where the orders are not canceled yet. Any questions on it?
No, I'm just happy to see that, looks like it's roughly 10% of your vehicles are what I would say excess
Right.
age. So that's something that you can fix up.
And as I mentioned previously, last 2 years we have ramped up the ordering, but unfortunately the inventory is not there. Before that, there was not that many purchases. The repair, because we have older vehicles, the repair charges are higher than our normal average. Also, since a lot of many employees are working remotely, and then they have meetings which are closer to their houses, and they use their own vehicles. So our mileage revenues are lower on these vehicles. The repairs are higher in many vehicles, and the fuel prices are higher. So equipment fund, as of now, has $19,000 loss, but the equipment fund profit or loss is not a significant portion of our financial statements, and we are just making sure that all the employees have a safe vehicle and is available when they need it. Any questions on this?
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, that concludes my presentation.
Well, thank you, Mr. Patel. Just promise us one thing, that if they call you from the Federal Reserve, you're not going to take it. You're going to stay where you are, right?
Yes, sir. I love this job.
All right, as long as you promise, that's fine. Thank you very much. Okay, now, Mr. Bartel, with Human Resources Report, sir.
Yes, good morning, everyone. I have some very good news to report. We have our new HR specialist reported on board last week. She's a great asset. Help to us. Our combined, our MES alone, as of 9 o'clock this morning, vacancy rate is 4.04%. And when we combine that with the total positions of Maryland Clean Energy and Chesapeake Bay Trust, we are at 3.88. So that is down substantially in 1 week. And this represents, in the last 4.5 months, a total of 5.72% reduction in our. That all I have on that report.
Let's see here, vacancy rates.
And additionally, our pipeline does look good as well for the remainder of the year.
Okay. All right. Thank you, sir. Appreciate that. Next item we have, we're still getting some noise in here. I hope we can find out where it is, but anyway, we'll go ahead. Next matter is any managing directors who will talk about the current activities, and I'm not sure exactly who's going to be there, but doing that, but let's see here. Mr. Ford.
Yes, sir. Good morning, everybody.
Morning, sir.
So this month, I'd like to highlight our Environmental Operations Monitoring Group. This is under the capable leadership of John Agnoli. And we're a little unique, which is why we're separated out from the remaining monitoring operations within MES. We primarily support solid waste facilities and particular landfills, and that is a unique client in terms of the services that have to be offered and the types of interpretation and reporting that are done. So it was best that we set that aside and focused on it long ago, and we've been capably doing that for a number of years. So the services that we offer are groundwater monitoring and reporting, landfill gas monitoring. I'm going to go through these individually, but remediation, systems operations, environmental investigations, stormwater and spill prevention plans, and Title V and greenhouse gas reporting. So next slide. So landfill gas monitoring and reporting, and that is that's becoming more focused, by the way, with new sets of regulations. That it means that we'll be tasked with additional work. We'll probably have to add headcount in order to be able to service our current customers, and we're certainly looking out with the rest of the state and see if our services are needed elsewhere as well. But that is monitoring and active and passive landfill gas systems. An active system is under some sort of mechanical control. Passive, it sounds, it's just usually a sheep's crook vent on a landfill, but they still have to be monitored and evaluated, and you're constantly adjusting it. We have field staff that go out and balance those well fields, particularly our midshore landfill and our Harford County operations, but we also work with other counties separately, and we'll get into that in a minute, running their landfill gas remediation systems. So these are monthly and quarterly testing that we do, and then we report on those results to MDE on behalf of our customers. We prepare annual greenhouse gas reports for 4 facilities, and we prepare Title V reports for 3. Next slide. Groundwater monitoring and reporting, similar to landfill gas reporting. Landfill, when it's constructed, the new Subtitle D land, well, say new, 1994, new it to me. Subtitle D landfill, I'll go back and do that. Subtitle D landfill requirements, these are heavily engineered facilities. They're designed to prevent leakage. And so in order to prove that your landfill is not leaking, you have compliance monitoring you have to do. And if that compliance monitoring shows some sort of concern, then you have to develop a remediation plan in order to address it. So we do the sampling, but more importantly, we do the statistical analysis and reporting and compliance updates and or remedial actions for our customers. And we do that at 24 solid waste sites across the state. We monitor and report also one EPA Superfund site in Harford County. That's the Bush Valley landfill, the old closed landfill there. Next slide. So we also handle remediation systems operations. Those are at facilities of Caroline, Harford, Talbot, and St. Mary's County. We manage and operate 7 landfill gas systems. We manage and operate 1 groundwater remediation system. This of interest here, it's more than just monitoring or providing remediation services. As we said, we do analysis and corrective measures for particular landfills, and we're proud to say that we have we developed one of the few assessment of corrective measures, ACM, in the state of Maryland. We did for Carroll County at the John Owens landfill. The state was looking at requiring that facility to do groundwater pump and treat. It would have cost the county hundreds of thousands of dollars. We developed an ACM plan for that county, and looking at the data, we were able to argue that natural attenuation was taking place and that it should continue. We didn't need to do groundwater monitoring or groundwater treatment. The state accepted that report, and we saved that county hundreds of thousands of dollars over the long term with that work. We've also done an ACM for St. Mary's County. There, the remedial solution was a landfill gas treatment. They had VOCs in their groundwater, couldn't figure out where they were coming from. There were exceedances off-site. There was a lawsuit involved with that as well. We were able to develop a plan. Actually, we looked at it. We determined that we thought it was landfill gas impacts on groundwater. So we developed a landfill gas remediation system that, at the end of the day, brought them into compliance, saved them hundreds of thousands of dollars. They settled their suit. And again, very successful program there. So they're very good at what they do. Next slide. We're happy to venture into this new an emerging set of analysis, and that's PFAS sampling. You can see it's a very intensive set of sampling requirements for PFAS because you're measuring in the parts per trillion. So there can't be any contamination associated with your activities, right? And PFAS is everywhere. So you see they're fully dressed out, specific techniques that are required to perform this testing. We're one of the few people that have done landfill testing in the state at this point. This is mainly driven because of a federal, the Bush Valley site. The feds required it to start. We're now seeing PFAS requirements that are leachate for our leachate pretreatment in our receiving facilities, our controlling authorities, and our the wastewater plants that receive our leachate. And eventually, there's going to be some requirement for treatment. So we're ahead of the game here with PFAS sampling. We're putting together a presentation that we intend to present at the annual Groundwater Symposium here in Maryland. I'm hoping that we get some national exposure as well with what we're doing here. And again, I'm proud of what they do here, and they're ahead of the game. So once again, MES is ahead of the curve.
On the treatment stuff, will that be done on site, or is that a haul and treat type
I think
thing?
it could be both, but generally it's going to be carbon treatment that will be on site. So if you want to own stock in something, own stock in carbon. How much PFAS treatment. I think that's the last one, right? So, any questions?
No?
Great.
All right. Anyone else? All right. Thank you, sir. Appreciate that very much. Okay. I'm still hearing sounds, so it's still hard to see who's doing what. I think the next matter comes through Sean Coleman, who is our officer from the American, or from our regular folks who come here every day, and he is our head lawyer. So, Mr. Coleman.
I think, Judge Smolkin, I think there are a couple of other groups that would like to make some presentations to the board, and then I'll be able to speak to the board.
I'm sorry, I couldn't quite hear them. Who is?
We have 3 more group updates.
Okay, I'm sorry about that. I just couldn't quite get it. All right, so we'll go ahead with that. Thank you.
Good morning. My update for TES is a little bit different today from some of our usual projects. This month's project for TES focuses on our staff who have expertise in archaeology and are working in permanent positions supporting the Maryland Department of Highway Administration on their cultural resources team. Typically, our staff would do support related to cultural resource investigations for the permitting phase of projects. But 2 of our staff members have been working on a special project at the birthplace of Harriet Tubman in Dorchester County. Of course, this has historical significance to the Underground Railroad that operated between 1850 and 1860 and assisted runaway slaves with transportation, shelter, and aid as they made their way from one location to another. This was a special outreach project initiated by the chief of the cultural resources at MDOT. MDOT works on cultural outreach projects that are either on or near MDOT property or that have significance to historic transportation routes. The MES archaeology staff assisted in the design, research, excavation, and curation of the artifacts found at the site. Planning for this project started back in 2021, and the excavation and field work occurred over 4 weeks in March and August of this year. And then the research and cataloging of the artifacts will continue probably for a couple more years. The star on the map shows the general location of where the project site is. That's where Harriet Tubman was born and her family lived. Cambridge is shown in the upper right corner of the map for reference. Harriet's father, Ben Ross, was enslaved at a farm located at the project site from a young age until about 1840. Artifacts found at that farm date between 1800 and 1840, so that's the time frame when Harriet Tubman's father, Ben, would have lived there. He married his wife in 1808 and they had 9 children, including Harriet, born in 1822. Harriet was split from her family as a child to live with a family who enslaved her for a period when she was young, and that location is referenced on the map as the site of her childhood home. And then also on the map is the Harriet Tubman National Historic Park. The exact location of where this work was done in the vicinity of that red star is not made public in order to limit disturbance, looting, anything like that. This picture shows part of the actual foundation where the Ross family lived. And I just want to note some of the bullets on this slide, which speak to the importance of this work to help understand the African-American history on Maryland's Eastern Shore. And also, this project provided tangible heritage information to the Ross and Tubman family descendants. They were actually invited to the site and they were able to see the actual excavation area as well as the artifacts. And then also tying it back to the Department of Transportation, this information at the site helps understand the role of transportation and the social network from the Underground Railroad. Is a picture on the right is ground penetrating radar. That's what was originally used to identify the area where the house foundation was, and then the excavation began. The excavation picture is on the left. In the excavation, they found a brick cellar floor, a single chimney, as well as a significant amount of artifacts from when the building was demolished and filled in. Thoughts are that the home was originally inhabited by an overseer of the farm. Then Harriet Tubman's family moved in, and then another African-American family before it was destroyed in the mid-1800s. And it was demolished, and it was all rubble, so the artifacts were found underneath the rubble. Okay. This is a snapshot of some of the artifacts that were found at the excavated home site. They date between 1800 and 1850, so that would have been the time when Harriet Tubman's family lived there. Bowls, plates, cooking items, glass medicine bottles, buttons, clay, tobacco pipe stems, and there was a bowl found that still had food remains in it, and the food was turtle and pig. Yeah. This is a close-up of some of the sewing and mending items that were found, as well as some additional artifacts that were uncovered from the Native American people who had also lived in that area. And these pictures are just more of the artifacts up close. The pictures on the left are the actual artifacts. The pictures on the right are examples of what those items might have been. So the one is pieces of teacups and saucers. And then the one on the right is a straight razor made of bone and metal. To aid in identification of some of the artifacts, they were x-rayed to show the structure of things that have corroded or can no longer be cleaned. An archaeological conservation lab in Southern Maryland. And that's where these artifacts eventually remain after they're processed and curated. And then here's just a close-up of some of those x-rayed items. On the left is a strap buckle, likely from a horse saddle or a piece of luggage. And the one on the right is some visible metal work. It's the two dots you can see. And that was a utensil handle that was made from an antler.
Sure, what's happening there?
There we go. And then our staff participates in updating the social media on the project site. Yeah. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. And now we have, okay, environmental dredging and restoration. Ms. Stolinar?
Thank you. Today I wanted to highlight the MES survey team led by professional land surveyor Don Rhodes. The team provides services to MDOT MPA sites such as Cox Creek and Masonville Dredge Material Containment Facilities, Poplar Island and Hartmiller Island, and Dundalk Marine Terminal. The team performs regular topographic and hydrographic surveys and drone imageries of the sites to document and track the progress at the sites. And they also perform construction stakeouts at projects like the base dike widening at Masonville. The team also provides professional survey services for many state agencies and local governments. Some examples of what they do are topographic and as-built. They also do survey grade locations on storm drain features for flood modeling and geodatabase creation. They also do hydrographic surveys of stormwater management ponds and dredge material containment ponds. And they do engineering drawings and sealed plats. They do survey support for mitigation projects like wetland delineations and forest stands. And they also do before and after dredging volumetric analysis for capacity planning and quality control. The team's goal is to accurately measure and represent real-world conditions using fundamental surveying concepts. And here are a few pictures of the team in action. From left to right, the first one is operating a total station for topographic survey. And the second one is a picture of a GPS rover unit collecting coordinates at Dundalk Marine Terminal. And the third one is a team member assembling a hydrone for hydrographic data collection. And the last one is assembling a drone for some aerial imagery. The team provides a multitude of survey deliverables which start with good planning, data collection, and post-processing of the work. And they provide raw data, CAD files, surface, point cloud data, finished engineering drawings, and construction project and aerial imagery, and also orthomosaic surveys. Next slide. And here's an example of a quality deliverable, a 3D point cloud video tour of Genesee Valley Learning Center, which is actually a mitigation project for the expansion of Cox Creek. This was generated with a unmanned aerial vehicle mission with photogrammetry software, and that this isn't actually like a photo, it's actually a pixelated video, and each pixel has an XYZ value, creating a 3D model of the real world conditions. So each pixel has like a latitude, longitude, and elevation value. Any questions?
Anyone else? And does that conclude your remarks, Ms. Dolmar?
Yes.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it. And let's see, Mr. Barr.
Yes. Thank you, Judge. Well, I'm back to being last among group leaders again this month. I couldn't quite deal with being first, but rightfully so, because what I'm rightfully so, because what I'm going to talk to you about is give you some background on the agenda item you're going to be considering next. I want to talk to you about the Darlington Water District, which the board created some 25 years ago. I had it 25 years ago. When we created the district, we also acquired something called the Darlington Water Company from Frank and Joan Garrett, who retired.
That was a real asset.
So, that's the backbone of the system. The district actually has 105 connections. That includes homes, churches, and businesses. The original system, when the Garretts ran it, date back to the 1950s. We, MES, upgraded it in 2003, spending roughly $1.5 million and I believe part of that was grant money. The system consists of 2 wells, a pump house, a pressure tank, and meters to each connection. Slide. If you're familiar with that part of Harford County, unfortunately the map isn't very readable, but this Route 161 actually in northeastern Maryland actually runs through the Darlington area. A few facts about the system. The capacity is pretty similar to our typical systems at MES, 20,000 gallons per day. The boundaries include the original system and property within 50 feet. If you're within 50 feet, we'll evaluate whether you can tie in. The system can be expanded, but we won't expand the system if it diminishes the level of service for our existing customers. Our goal at MES is to maintain the current system and make improvements as needed to ensure the reliability to customers. The treatment, fairly straightforward. The water treatment consists of sodium hypochlorite to disinfect the water and the addition of polyphosphate to inhibit corrosion in the system. Next slide. A couple pictures for you. There's the pressure tank that I talked about. There's the office for the system. MES is required to review, update, and readopt a 5-year plan biannually. That will be on the agenda. I understand from Mr. Coleman that a public meeting or public information hearing has already been held, and so that piece is done. And that segues into your next agenda item that you'll be considering. Thank you, Judge.
Thank you. Anyone have any questions? All right. Well, thank you all very much with the updates that you've given us. I think it puts a wonderful area of different kinds of matters that all have a relationship, that all go together to make this MES a wonderful operation. So thank you very much. Next to our counselor, Sean Coleman. It's your town now.
Thank you, Your Honor. Before you is a resolution that would adopt the updated 5-year plan for the Darlington Service District. This service district is the only active service district that MES is managing currently. There is a provision, actually multiple provisions in the MES Act that allows the agency to create these service districts where MES essentially controls, in this case, the water supply for the residents who live within the service district. As a requirement for the service district, MES has to have a plan which needs to be reviewed every couple of years and approved by the board. And as I mentioned, that updated plan is attached to the resolution. The statute also requires that there be a public information hearing held so that the residents have the opportunity to comment on the plan. They are also invited to submit comments directly to the agency, even if they don't attend the public information hearing. We did have a remote public information hearing. No one attended that meeting other than staff, and we have not received any comments from the citizens. As part of the service district and in the plan, you'll see towards the latter part of the plan, there's various discussions of what it's costing to operate this facility. At this point, the facility, the service district is paying for itself. The residents pay a variable rate per 1,000 gallons of water, but then added to that is also a fixed charge per each resident to recover the capital costs that have been incurred. And then the bay fee is added onto that as well, and I believe another fee. But the facility or the service district is paying for itself. The nice thing about a water service district is that if an individual doesn't pay their bill, in addition to putting a lien on the property, we can also go out and turn off the water service to the residents and charge them a fee to turn it back on when they do finally come up with their payment. We are sensitive, though, to individuals who may have special needs that can't pay the fee and must have water supply. But we have very few individuals who are in arrears in this service district. So that's pretty much the service district. This is an action that the board has to take each year or every couple of years, and I'd be happy to answer any questions along with Mr. Patel. I'm sure can fill you in more on any of the financial details, and Mr. Barr can update you on any other operations questions you might have.
I would like to add just one thing, that if any Darlington resident has financial difficulties in paying the bill, we have dedicated a person, this cashier in AR. They can contact her and she will guide them to the financial resources available by the state to pay their bill. So very seldom, we will turn off the water. Only time we will threaten that we know that the person is avoiding paying the bills. But other than that, if they have a need, we'll provide them with the resources.
Is there a differential between the commercial and industrial, institutional users and the residents?
Not the rate.
The rate's the same?
Yeah, because they use more gallons water, so their bills are higher.
But there's no upcharge?
No.
All right, Mr. Barr, you have anything else to add to this?
No, I don't.
All right. Well, we need to have an approval by the resolution by approval of the board. Does the board have any questions of any matter before we go to? No. Oh yes, go ahead.
I'm sorry, Sean. I just found it's a hazard of my job, but I just found a little editorial modification that needs to be made. So I'll just send those over to you, but it wouldn't change the substance of the resolution.
Thank you.
It's on page 2, paragraph 5, line 3 at the end. But I'll send you what needs to be clarified.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Wang. Anyone else have any questions about the matter here at Darlington? All right. Is there a resolution to be put ahead? Basically, it's the same thing as any other kind of motion. It's essentially a motion.
Yes, that's correct. We would need a motion and a second.
All right. And we have a second. Any other matter to be said? Yes, go ahead.
Second.
All right. Any matters other before we vote? All right. All those in favor for this resolution, raise your hand. Say aye.
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 And no others are there. Therefore, it is resolved as approved.
Thank you.
All right. I think that's it for a number of things. Now we have Ms. Crosby. Got anything for Santa Claus there for the last? You ready?
Yes.
You're off camera. You're off camera where you're seated. Yeah, that's probably.
Can't see me.
You want to sit here? Yeah. No, this is fine.
All right. Coming aboard?
She's just moving. She's was off camera, Judge Malkin.
There she is. Okay.
She's actually here present today on the icy day. That's what
Well, my
All right.
supervisor said.
Okay.
His
Nice to see you.
name. Yeah, he's not here. Good morning, everybody. We have before you item 1 for MPA Poplar Island Ecosystem Restoration. This is a competitive sealed bid This is a modified change order, on second change order on the contract. The contractors, the Bain Brothers Company, the amount is $600,000, bringing the total contract amount to $1,600,000.
All right, any members of the board have any questions? Okay.
Move approval.
Is there a motion to approve? Motion's been made. Second?
I'll second.
Second. All right. Any matters before we vote? All right. All those in favor, please raise your hand, say aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed? All right, none. Therefore, it is approved. Next item.
And just a quick note too, if everyone turns on their camera or their audio so that I can see or hear them voting if they're remote, that's very helpful. Thank you. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Hattie, go ahead.
Go ahead. You want us to redo it? You want us to redo it
No,
now?
I've got it.
You got it now.
No, we're fine. It's going forward. Thank you.
Right. Go ahead.
Item 2 for the Dundalk Marine Terminal Groundwater Treatment Plant Upgrade. This is also a competitive sealed bid and a pre-award solicitation. The estimated amount for the project is $660,000, and it has an MBE goal of 13%.
All right. Any members of the board have any questions on this? All right. Is there a motion? I'll move it. Second?
Second.
Second. All those in favor, please raise your hand and say aye.
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 And your name as well, so that Ms. Fuller knows. So this was for all of the board that is with us. So, all right. Let's move on to number 3.
Okay. Item 3 is for the Montgomery County Recycling Center. This is a general labor service contract. The awarded contractor is Colossal Contractors. And this is a letter renewal for the amount. A letter renewal for $2,488,328, bringing the total revised contract amount to $4,823,514.40, with an MBE goal of 30%, and the contractor is currently achieving 27.6%, and Colossal is also an MBE company.
All right. Anybody have any questions on this matter? All right. Do I hear anyone approving and that is putting up their hand to start?
This is Shelley. I'll move to approve.
All right. And let's see. Second on it? I'll second it. Any questions? All those, raise your hand and please give your name. Say aye and your name.
Aye, Witt.
Shelley, aye.
Aye, Derek Davis.
Thank you, sir. All right, how's that, Ms. Fuller?
That's great. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Let's go to the next item, item 4.
Report for the Cheltenham Youth Facility and Water System Improvement. This is the SBR AE shortlist contract. The awarded contract is Bartek Engineering Corporation. The amount of the award is $332,563, and the MBE goal for this contract is 20%.
There's a little bit to remark on that if anybody wants to take a quick look at it, if you have anything to ask. All right, I don't hear any. Is there a motion to approve the matter?
I'll move approval.
All right, first and
I'll
second?
second Marion. I'll second Marion.
All right, thank you very much. Any other matters before we vote? All right, all those in favor, raise your hand and say aye with your name.
Aye, Shelley.
Aye, Witt.
Aye, Derek Davis.
Thank you. Any No others, therefore it is approved. Next, number 5.
Item 5 for the Technical Environmental Service Group. This is for the CWI, de-icing and wastewater hauling and disposal. This is a competitively sealed bid. The awarded contractor is Kalyani Environmental Solutions, who is also an MBE company. The amount is $452,500. The MBE goes on the contract is 17%.
All right, any questions on this?
Mr. Chairman, can I ask a quick question regarding the MBE goal?
Yes, sir.
Where did the 17% come from? Why was that number chosen?
What we do is a search in the MBE database and look at the subcontracting opportunities. If there are a number or a large number of MBEs that are available that could subcontract, then the goal tend to be a little bit higher.
And this one's for de-icing?
Yes.
And we could only do 17% for that one?
Well, the total contract will go to an MBE because the prime contractor is also an MBE.
So 17% only speaks to
The
subcontracting opportunity.
Correct.
But if that's the case, why do we need an MBE goal if the prime contractor is an MBE?
They are. Goal is set before we do the solicitation.
Got it. Okay. Understand.
All right, anyone else have any questions? Is there a motion to approve?
So moved, Derek Davis.
All right.
Shelley, second.
And second, anyone else, any discussion before we vote? All right, all those in favor, please raise your hand, say aye. What's your name?
Shelley, aye.
Aye, Derek Davis.
All right, thank you very much. And we have a form, it's now approved and procured. All right, next.
Okay. Item 6 is for environmental operation. This is for the fire sprinkler system replacement at the Prince George's County Material Recovery Facility. This is a competitive sealed bid and also a pre-solicitation before approval, before we solicit the contract. The advertising date is to be determined. The estimated amount is $400,000. The goal on this contract is 7%.
All right. Any questions from the board? Is there a motion to
Move approval, Mr. Chairman.
Motion to approve?
Yes, sir.
And second?
I'll second.
Second? All right. Any other matters before we vote? All right, all those in favor, please raise your hand, say aye.
Shelley,
Aye,
aye.
Witt.
Smoking?
Derek Davis, no.
All right. Well, that there still is a quorum, I think, on this. Do we not have a quorum? I think we have a quorum.
You do have sufficient votes to pass it.
Yep.
Yep.
Motion passed.
All right, sir. Thank you. Appreciate that. And we go ahead on, Ms. Crosby.
Sure. Item 7 is also for the environmental operation group. This is for HVAC system replacement and duct cleaning at the Prince George's County Material Recycling Facility. This is pre-solicitation award. Also, the advertising date is to be determined. And the estimated amount for this is $400,000, and the MBE goes 14%.
All right. Any questions, matters with regard to this particular one from the board? All right. Is there a motion to approve it? All right. There's a motion. I'll second it. All those in favor, please raise your hands. Say aye.
Aye.
Witt.
Derek Davis votes no.
All right, that is duly noted, but there is a quorum, and therefore it will stay approved. and procured. All right, next item then.
Okay, item 8 is for the wastewater engineering division. This is for the Charlotte Hall water treatment plant upgrade. This is an SBR AE shortlist contract. The awarded contractor is Watec Engineering Corporation. The amount is $487,678 with a 37% MBE goal.
All right, any questions on this matter?
An important repair.
All right, is there a motion?
I'll move approval.
Motion and a second?
Shelley,
Davis, second.
I'll second.
Has been second. All those in favor, please raise your hand, say aye.
Aye.
Aye,
Shelley.
Witt.
Derek Davis votes aye.
All right, they are then approved, and procurement is taken care of. I think that's our last one. Is that not the case? It is. All right, well, thank you, Ms. Crosby. As always, you have everything set for us, and appreciate your work. Thank you. And let's see here. Now we have the procurement notifications to be examined. If anyone sees something they wish to discuss. Anyone who all right, is there any reason not to proceed? Hearing none, we'll have our legal report from Councilor Sean Coleman. Sir, if you would start, thank you.
I have two matters that I'll be updating the board on in the closed session, two litigation matters. I did want to also say that we were happy to entertain the Attorney General for a visit to our office last month. He's visiting a number of the other offices, and it was good to have some time to speak with the Attorney General and talk about his final priorities. The new Attorney General will be taking office on January 3rd.
All right. Does everybody
And we look forward to working with him.
All right. Thank you very much. Next matter comes for any other open business. No, I don't hear any open business coming. There will be next meeting Thursday, January 22nd of actually, I think it's supposed to be 2023. Okay, yeah. We're on 2023 at 9:30 a.m. 22 is gone for a while shortly. All right. There's a closed session ahead. The board intends to meet in closed session for the following reasons as permitted under section 3-305B1 and 8 of general provisions of articles of the annotated code of Maryland. And the matter is to discuss the compensation of specific individuals employed by the service and to receive an update on several litigation matters from agency counsel. Is there anyone as a member of the board who objects to this? If so, you will be noted. There is none. Is anyone else, if anything else is during the meeting, objects to the board that we have just discussed in closed session to move ahead? If there are any objections you have, please contact MES through its website at www.menv.com. All right. Is there a motion to close and have a closed session on this? I'll move it.
I got an A on my history final.
And we have.
Stop stepping on my foot.
Second.
We could get in place.
Hey.
Good job, now, have a.
I'm sorry, I'm quite not.
Sorry, there was a lot of interference. I muted someone.
Oh,
I believe we have a motion, and did we have a second?
all right. Second has been made.
Marion.
Claude, is there a call for a vote to close the meeting of the board? If so, raise your hand, say aye.
Aye, Derek Davis.
Aye, Frederick
I would.
Smoking. And I think every other person we have on the board so says. And if that's the case, we will start adjourning after the closed session. And will not return to this open session on this date. And before we go, I want to say to people within MES and also people that are work with MES to say that this has been a delightful year. I think we've gotten so much stuff done. And I want to thank all members of the board, because the members of the board we have are just wonderful people. They know what they're doing, they know what we're thinking about, and they are just amazing people to have, and I'm very happy to be with them as well. And also, we wish you happiness and joy here. It'll be Christmas very soon, and I hope everyone has a wonderful time before we leave 2022. Okay. Yes, we go to 2023 and we get more money, yeah? So there we go. I hope we get more money from Mr. Patel. All right. So